You see the lights flash, the reel spin, and suddenly, bam! The machine explodes in colors, bells ring, and the screen proudly declares, "Winner!" You feel that rush of excitement, that warm little spark in your brain that says, "Yes, I did it." But here's the catch. You might have actually just lost money. Sounds crazy, right? Casinos have perfected one of the most powerful psychological illusions ever invented. A trick that makes you celebrate losing and even thank the machine for taking your money. Let's pull back the curtain on how that works, because once you see the trick, you can't unsee it. Imagine you're playing a slot machine and you bet $1. The reel spin, you match a few symbols, lights flash, and the machine proudly tells you that you've won 40 cents. You just got back less than you put in, but the sounds, the animations, everything about the moment tells your brain you've won. That's what researchers call a false win. Your balance goes down, but your brain doesn't notice right away because it's too busy celebrating. Casinos love this, because that little jolt of excitement, even from a loss, keeps you spinning. Every time the lights flash and the music plays, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical you get when you eat chocolate, check your phone for likes, or fall in love. And slot machines are engineered to deliver those dopamine hits with surgical precision. Every sound effect, every animation, even the delay between spins, it's all designed to hook your reward system. The sound of coins dropping? That's no accident. Most modern slot machines don't even pay out coins anymore, but they still play that clink-clink sound because your brain associates it with winning. The flashing lights? They're timed to mimic the rhythm of excitement, literally matching your heart rate as it speeds up. The whole machine becomes a kind of emotional puppet master, pulling invisible strings you don't even feel. And here's the real mind bender. Even professional players, people who understand the math, still fall for it. Because it's not about logic. It's about biology. When your brain gets a reward signal, it doesn't check your wallet first. It just says, "That felt good. Do it again." That's how casinos blur the line between winning and losing until your emotions can't tell the difference. But it goes deeper. Slot designers talk about something called the machine zone. If you've ever lost track of time while scrolling your phone, you've tasted a bit of it. It's that calm, hypnotic state where you stop thinking and just keep playing. You're not chasing a jackpot anymore. You're chasing the feeling of spinning. Casinos want you in that zone because that's where you spend the most time and money. The lights are dimmed just enough, the sounds are soothing but energetic, and the buttons feel smooth under your fingers. It's not chaos, it's comfort, and comfort keeps you sitting there. You know how your phone gives you random notifications, and sometimes they're boring, but sometimes they're exciting? That unpredictability keeps you checking. Slot machines use the exact same psychological principle, called a variable reward schedule. It's the same system that keeps pigeons pecking buttons in psychology experiments. You never know when the reward is coming, so you keep trying. And because sometimes you get those false wins in between, your brain stays convinced you're doing well. You might think, "I'm winning a lot tonight," when in reality you're slowly losing, just in smaller pieces. The machine's goal isn't to make you lose quickly, it's to make you feel like you're always close to winning. That's why slot machines often show two matching jackpot symbols and one almost matching symbol just off the line. Your brain reads that as so close, even though the odds are completely random. That near miss triggers the same parts of your brain as an actual win. Crazy, right? You're literally getting a dopamine hit for almost winning. That's like your brain giving you a cookie for failing. But it works, keeps you spinning. And every time you spin, you feed the illusion that you're in control. If I time it right, maybe it'll hit. This machines do. But here's the truth. Slot machines are random number generators. They don't remember you, they don't owe you, and they don't get hot or cold. Every spin is independent, but your brain doesn't want to believe that. Craves patterns, meaning, and control. So it invents them. Casinos understand this better than anyone. That's why the spin button is big and satisfying to press. Why the sound of the reel stopping is just slightly delayed, giving you a tiny heartbeat of suspense. Why the background music shifts subtly to keep you emotionally engaged. Everything is orchestrated to make losing money feel like an experience, not a transaction. And here's something wild. In lab tests, scientists hooked up players to heart monitors and brain scanners. They found that during a false win, when players lost money but the machine celebrated, their brains reacted almost exactly the same as when they truly won. The reward centers lit up, dopamine spiked, and their emotions followed suit. Their body believed it had won, even though their balance didn't. That's the psychological magic trick. Casinos don't just make you lose, they make you enjoy losing. But now that you know this, you can start to see through it. The first step to beating any illusion is awareness. Next time you play, pay attention to your emotions. Ask yourself, did I really win? Or did the machine just tell me I did? You'll start noticing those small wins that are actually slow losses. And once you see them, the illusion breaks. Here's another pro tip. If you ever find yourself zoning out, just spinning automatically, it's time to walk away. That machine zone is a trap, not a vibe. Casinos love players who lose track of time, so they remove clocks, make the lighting constant, and pump in fresh air to keep you alert but relaxed. You can play for hours without realizing it. Don't fall for it. Decide your limit before you sit down, both in time and money, and treat it like entertainment, not income. You're paying for the experience, not trying to outsmart the system. Because the system is designed by psychologists, engineers, and data scientists who know exactly how your brain works. The good news? Once you understand the trick, you can still enjoy the game without becoming the prey. You can appreciate the sounds and lights for what they are, beautiful distractions. The dopamine rush becomes something you notice, not something that controls you. And that awareness gives you back the one thing casinos never want you to have: control. So next time the machine flashes winner and your brain starts to cheer, take a breath. Check your balance. If you just got paid less than you bet, that's not a win, it's a performance. The casino isn't celebrating you. It's celebrating itself. But here's the empowering part. Now you know the script. You know how the music, the lights, and the animations are designed to keep you playing. You know that your brain's reward system can be hacked, but also that it can be unhacked. Awareness is your firewall. So keep the thrill, but not the illusion. Play for fun, not for fantasy. Enjoy the game, but remember the math always wins in the long run. Because the only real jackpot in the casino is walking away smarter than when you walked in. Ever noticed how people in casinos seem so happy, even when they're losing? There's laughter, cheering, clinking glasses. It feels like one big party. But that's exactly the point. The casino is built to make losing feel good. It's not just about the machines. It's about the whole environment. Everything, from the carpet patterns to the temperature of the air, is designed to keep your brain in a comfortable, playful state. You walk in and instantly feel like you're in a fantasy world where time doesn't exist and money feels like just another game token. The second you exchange cash for credits or chips, your brain stops thinking of it as real money. It's called token disassociation. The $100 bill you worked hard for feels painful to lose, but 100 credits? That feels like play money. Casinos figured out that if they can make you forget the real value, you'll spend more freely. That's why even the word spin feels fun and harmless. You're not betting dollars, you're just spinning for entertainment. And here's another sneaky detail most players never notice. Casinos deliberately remove obvious cues about how much you've lost. There's no dollar sign next to your credit count, no total showing your original balance. The machine just says something like, balance, $274. That could be $274 or $2.74. You're not thinking about it. And while you're busy watching the reels, that number quietly ticks down. By the time you realize how much you've spent, you're already emotionally invested in winning it back. The environment around you reinforces that mindset. Casinos pump in extra oxygen to keep you alert and slightly euphoric. The temperature is kept just cool enough to make you comfortable but not sleepy. Even the carpets are patterned in bright, chaotic designs to subtly direct your attention toward the machines. Every sensory input is part of a calculated experience that says, stay here, keep playing, feel good. And the soundscape? It's genius. Even the background music is tuned to a tempo that matches the average heartbeat of a mildly excited person, around 120 beats per minute. That rhythm keeps your body in a state of gentle arousal and engagement. When the pace of the music increases near a jackpot or bonus round, your excitement rises naturally, as if the machine is syncing with your emotions. Casinos don't want you calm enough to walk away or anxious enough to stop. They want you right in that sweet spot of pleasant tension. But maybe the most dangerous illusion is memory bias. After a session at the slots, most players will confidently say things like, "I won a bunch tonight," or "I broke even." In reality, almost no one breaks even. So why do people feel that way? Because our brains remember wins more vividly than losses. That's called the availability heuristic. We recall what stands out emotionally. Losing $20 5 times in a row barely registers compared to one exciting $50 win with flashing lights and cheering sounds. The memory of that one big victory overpowers all the quiet losses that led up to it. So even when we lose overall, we feel like we won. And casinos know it. They engineer every win to be as dramatic and memorable as possible. You might notice that a $2 win triggers the same explosion of lights and sounds as a $200 win. That's deliberate. The goal isn't to reflect the size of your reward, it's to amplify the emotion of it. Because emotion drives behavior far more than logic. You'll forget the math, but you'll remember the rush. Now, let's talk about personalization. Modern slot machines aren't just random boxes anymore. They're computers collecting data. Every spin, every bet size, every pause you take is recorded. Over time, the casino builds a profile of your behavior. How long you play, how often you increase your bets, what themes attract you, what sounds keep you engaged. This data helps them design new machines that target specific psychological types. Some people like slow, relaxing games with soft sounds and gentle animations. Others crave loud, fast, high-intensity visuals. The casino doesn't need to trick everyone the same way. They just need to find your personal sweet spot of stimulation. It's like a custom-tailored dopamine experience. And if you think you're immune because you only play for fun, that's exactly what the designers want. They market it as entertainment because fun disarms your critical thinking. You're not watching for manipulation when you think you're just having a good time. It's the same principle that makes people overspend on mobile games or online shopping. When you label it as play, your defenses drop. But let's be clear, playing slots isn't evil. The problem isn't the game, it's the illusion of control. That's what hooks people.
Humans at randomness.
We want to believe that if we just do the right thing, press the button at the right time, pick the right machine, say the right lucky word, we can influence the outcome. That tiny belief keeps us engaged far longer than pure chance ever could. In psychology, it's called the illusion of agency. You know intellectually that the machine is random, but emotionally, you feel responsible for the result. When you win, you feel smart. When you lose, you feel unlucky. Either way, you spin again to balance it out. Casinos even design the physical layout to exploit that illusion. Notice how jackpot machines are often placed near entrances or high-traffic areas. You see someone cheering, lights flashing, and your brain thinks, "Wow, people win here." But what you don't see are the hundreds of quiet losses happening on machines just out of view. Casinos use these visible wins as social proof. They're advertising, not evidence. Let's go even deeper. The reason these tricks work so well is because of how our reward system evolved. Thousands of years ago, dopamine wasn't about pleasure, it was about survival. It motivated us to seek food, explore, and learn. It rewarded effort and curiosity. But modern technology hijacks that ancient system. Slot machines compress that entire process, search, effort, reward, into a single button press. Your brain gets the dopamine, but without the accomplishment. Over time, you start chasing the chemical hit itself, not the result. That's why gambling can be so habit-forming. You're not addicted to money, you're addicted to anticipation. So how do you protect yourself without giving up the fun? The first step is awareness, but there are a few concrete habits that really help. Number 1. Always play with cash, not cards. Physically handling your money keeps your brain connected to the value of it. When you feed in bills one by one, you feel the cost. But when it's just numbers on a screen, that emotional barrier disappears. Number 2. Set a time limit before you start. Not a "we'll see how it goes" kind of limit, but a hard cutoff. When the time's up, walk away no matter what. The reason? In that machine zone, time distorts. 10 minutes can feel like 2, and 2 hours can feel like 10 minutes. Having an alarm or a friend to check in breaks that trance. Number 3, never chase losses. This one sounds obvious, but it's the hardest to follow. Chasing losses activates the same part of the brain involved in addiction and obsession. The moment you say, "I'll win it back," you've already lost control. Treat each spin as independent because it is. And finally, number 4, reframe what winning actually means. If you play for entertainment and walk away within your budget, you've already won. The casino only wins when you forget that the game isn't about money. It's about time. The longer you sit, the more likely you are to lose. The best players know when to stop, not because they're lucky, but because they're aware. Here's something empowering to think about. Once you understand how these tricks work, you can watch them in real time. You can literally see the illusion being built around you. The flashing lights, a dopamine trigger. The near miss, a psychological hook. The upbeat music after a small payout, a reinforcement loop. Once you name them, they lose power. The trick stops being magic when you understand the method. And honestly, that's kind of satisfying. It turns the whole experience into a game you control, a mental chess match between you and the machine. The casino might be engineered to win, but your awareness makes you unpredictable. You become the one thing they can't program for, a player who sees through the illusion. So next time you walk past a row of flashing machines, listen closely. Hear the sounds, the cheers, the manufactured excitement. Recognize it for what it is. A symphony of psychology designed to make you forget where you are and what you're spending. Smile at the cleverness of it. Enjoy it if you want, but stay awake. Because the real win isn't a jackpot on a screen. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing the game without letting it play you.